Hi everyone, I am Prithvi Ravikumar and Apple Sustainable Initiatives is the project I have chosen for the class Green Supply Chain Management under the guidance of Dr. Arun Nambia. The overview of the project goes with the introduction, Apple a sustainable company, Apple's effort in sustainability, Apple's environmental responsibility report, conclusion and references. Sustainability incorporates reasonable building, outline, and operations. Sustainability is the gathering of approaches and techniques utilized by organizations to minimize their natural effect on future eras. Biological concerns, for example, the ecological effect of contaminations, are adjusted with financial concerns, for example, minimizing the utilization of restricted regular assets to keep up their accessibility for what's to come. Steve Jobs' saying goes like this: Apple is already a leader in innovation and engineering, and we are applying these same talents to become an environmental leader. Sustainability is a field that requires a groundbreaking attitude and imaginative arrangements. Apple's demonstrated reputation of advancement, from Steve Jobs' innovation of the PC to the production of first tablet PC, makes Apple a characteristic contender for ecological initiative. Apple accepts genuine advancement must consider everything. They take their developments past their item and into their practices. As a component of their proceeding with mission to leave the world superior to anything they discovered it, they are cooperating with the conservation fund to ensure and make the sort of backwoods they use in their building. Apple has tried huge endeavors in manageability since 2007 by expelling dangerous substances from their items or fueling some of their offices with 100% renewable vitality. Apple trusts environmental change is genuine. Also, it's a genuine issue. As a worldwide organization that makes the absolute most famous items on the planet, now they utilize a great deal of vitality and material which thusly creates nursery gas outflows that add to environmental change. That is the part of the issue they can explain. Apple have discovered approaches to utilize vitality and materials all the more effectively in their offices to get vitality from cleaner sources and to make a portion of the world's most vitality proficient electronic items. Apple is still the main organization in the business whose server farms are controlled by 100% renewable vitality and whose whole product offering meets as well as far surpass strict Energy Star rules. Apple's website clearly details its carbon footprint, which total 14.8 million metric tons of greenhouse gas emissions in 2010. It breaks down this footprint into manufacturing 46%, transportation 2%, product use 45%, recycling 1%, and facilities 2%. Some highlights of Apple's efforts: manufacturing. Good manufacturing process and responsible recycling minimize toxins in supply chain, helps keep our land, air, and water free from pollutants. Apple set own standards to stop using many harmful toxins that are damaging our environment and hope that others follow their lead. Over the past decade, Apple designers and engineers have continued to pioneer new ways to build their products with less material. Manufacturing innovations such as unibody constructions have allowed products like iPad, MacBook Pro, and MacBook Air to become thinner while being even more resilient. Today's Mac Pro uses 74% less aluminum and steel than the previous design, and the newest iMac is made with 68% less material than the first iMac. Apple killed brominated fire retardants, lead, PVC, mercury, and other destructive poisons from their items. Certain item segments no more contain chlorine, arsenic, or natural bromine. Numerous items are little and more slender, utilizing less materials. For instance, the second era iPad was 33% more slender than the first. Apple new Macintosh professional model and their points of interest have been clarified. Apple items and their guidelines have been turned out to be glad about the item. Some features of new Mac Pro. It consumes 68% less power in idle model than the previous generation Mac Pro. It outperforms the strict requirements of Energy Star program for computer version 6.0, utilizing less than half the allowable energy limit. Its packaging consists of 82% less volume and weighs 84% less than the previous generation Mac Pro, allowing 3 times more units to fit in an airline shipping container. It is extremely material efficient, consuming 74% less aluminum and steel compared with previous generation model. Apple is currently being a good example for other assembling commercial enterprises which ought to likewise begin to improve and focus more about the green innovation inside of the item. Facilities. The cleanest energy is the energy you never use, so Apple design new buildings and update existing ones to use a little electricity as possible. For the energy they do need, their goal is to power all Apple corporate offices, retail stores, and data centers entirely with energy from renewable sources, solar, wind, microhydro, and geothermal, which uses heat right from the earth. They're investing in their own Apple on-site energy production, including solar, directed biogas fuel cells, and microhydra, as well as establishing relationship with third-party energy suppliers to source renewable energy. Apple optimized their energy use in existing facilities and designed new facilities from the ground up with energy efficiency as a fundamental principle. Though energy efficiency measures in design and retro commissioning, they have consistently seen energy savings of 30% or more at our data centers, corporate facilities, and retail stores. To meet their reduced energy needs, they generate clean, renewable energy from projects they develop ourselves. Apple not only have built the largest non-utility solar array and largest non-utility fuel cell installations in the country, but also installed solar arrays and fuel cells for their Cupertino, California facilities. They develop energy sources with superior environmental performance and look to the Green E national standard and to relevant local legislation to help them decide whether a given resource is truly renewable. Where it's not feasible to create all their own energy, they fulfill their remaining needs with grid purchased renewable energy, preferably delivered to their facilities or onto the same electric grid in which their facilities are located. Here they have been exceptionally rigorous on two fronts. First, in ensuring the grid purchased renewable energy be from newer projects with the objective of providing investment incentives to local providers, and second, to secure renewable energy from the grid in the region in which they use it. In cases they aren't able to purchase renewable energy in this way due to local regulations, Apple will purchase renewable energy credits, which they register and are careful to retire in certified tracking systems. All Apple's data centers are powered by 100% renewable energy sources, which result in zero greenhouse gas emissions, and they are committed to keeping it that way. These energy sources include solar, wind, and geothermal power. This renewable energy comes from both on-site sources and energy obtained from local resources. The data centers services like Siri, the iTunes Store, the App Store, Maps, and iMessage. So every time a song is downloaded from iTunes, an app is installed from the Mac App Store, or a book is downloaded from iBooks, the energy Apple uses is provided by nature. And the energy savings go beyond the data centers themselves because there's no physical material to manufacture, package, and transport. Apple's new spaceship building, to be located in Cupertino City, California, is a futuristic structure that should be completed in 2015 and will house approximately 13,000 employees. Of the 150-acre site, Apple intends to make nearly 80% green landscape by planting an extra 2,300 trees. There will also be a company garden with a wide range of flora and fauna. Transportation. Making thinner, lighter, and more material efficient products not only reduces their carbon footprint and conserve resources, but also helps reduce greenhouse gas emissions produced during transportation. Apple ships more and more products per trip, and the savings is adding up. The slanted shape of the iMac box makes it easier to stack more on each shipping pallet, so more products can be shipped in one trip, resulting in fewer emissions. Product usage. The energy consumed by their products during everyday use represent a big share of their carbon footprint. So they look at three ways to reduce a product's energy consumption: more efficient power supplies to bring electricity from the wall to the device, more efficient hardware, and smarter power management software. As a company that designs both the hardware and the software for its products, they are able to use the technological collaboration for greater energy efficiency. OS X, the Mac's operating system, never misses a power saving opportunity no matter how small. It puts hard disk to sleep and runs processes in an ultra low power mode when you are not hard at work on your Mac. And when you are OS X uses less energy for apps that are open but not visible, pauses animated website plugins until you give the OK, and can even idle the processor between keystrokes as you type. These energy savings might seem tiny, but when multiplied by every Apple computer in the world, they are huge. A lot of the things that used to be done on a computer are now being done on the iPad or iPhone. Since these smaller devices use a lot less material energy, their carbon footprint is much smaller than that of a computer. And as these devices become more and more advanced, their footprint continues to decrease as well. The A7 chip is up to twice as fast as the A6 while still delivering up to 10 hours of battery life, which means that even though you will get better performance, you won't be using more energy. Since 2008, they have reduced the average total power consumed by Apple products by 57% and reduced a portion of their greenhouse gas emissions too. So even as they continue to grow faster than the rest of the industry, they are doing it with the products that are friendlier to the environment. Recycling. All electronic waste Apple collect worldwide is processed in the region where it's collected. Nothing is shipped overseas for disposal. The vast majority of their recycling is handled in region to keeping their transportation related greenhouse gas emissions low. Apple currently works with 153 partners around the globe whose facilities are rigorously evaluated annually on health and safety, environmental compliance, marketing tracking, social responsibility, and other Apple mandates. Many substances commonly used in the electronics industry can be harmful to people or the planet. So they design their products with cleaner, safer materials to reduce and eliminate these toxins. And they hold their suppliers accountable. Apple conduct factory audits, test components with independent laboratories, and verify the results in a lab they built at their headquarters in Cupertino. Apple's mission is to make sure anyone who assembles, uses, and recycles an Apple product can do so safely. They continue to lead the industry in reducing or eliminating harmful toxin substances to keep both people and the environment healthy. In 2007, shortly after getting his first spanking in a Greenpeace annual report, Apple published a document on its site that was at once case for the defense and statement of intent. Steve Jobs named the areas where he believed Apple was already ahead of the curve in environmental terms. In others, he set out plans to improve. Apple completely eliminated the use of CRTs in mid 2006, he wrote. A note of comparison: Dell, Gateway, HP, and Lenovo still ship CRT displays today. Apple plans to completely eliminate the use of arsenic in all of its display by the end of 2008. Apple plans to completely eliminate the use of PVCs and BFS in its product by the end of 2008. These are not just talks by Steve Jobs. Apple really proved it. Apple has topped the electronics sector in addressing its environmental footprint, according to a new report released by Greenpeace. In the same week that Berlin will gather some of the world's biggest technology companies for its IFA 2014 technology show, Greenpeace has released a new report, Green Gadgets Designing the Future, evaluating which of these products wins the award for having the lowest environmental impact. The Greenpeace report evaluates 16 of the biggest tech giants, including Apple, Samsung, Dell, Nokia, Toshiba, HP, and Panasonic, on the steps they have made to reduce their energy demand, eliminate the use of hazardous chemicals, and the development of more sustainable supply chain. Apple, which Greenpeace already applauded in its recent Clicking Clean report for working to power the internet with 100% renewable energy, has been judged to have topped the environmental charts this time around, leapfrog its main mobile rival Samsung. Apple has shown us a glimpse of greener future, leading the sector on toxic-free products and starting to address the huge environmental footprint of electronics manufacturing. Beijing, May 11, 2015, Apple announced an expansion of its renewable energy and environmental protection initiatives in China, including a new multi-year project with World Wildlife Fund to significantly increase responsible managed forests across China. The new forestland program aims to protect as much as 1 billion acres of responsibly managed working forests, which provided fiber for pulp, paper, and wood products. Apple's goal is to achieve a net zero impact on the world's supply of sustainable virgin fiber and power all operations worldwide on 100% renewable energy. Investigating Apple's most recent eco certification, it is clear considerably more uplifting news there was this time around. Clearly, the organization has come great on its guarantees, figured out how to conceal its errors all the more successfully. These are the references I have used for this project. Thank you everyone for listening to my presentation.